The lights are bright, the music fades. And in that quiet moment before the clue appears, 3 contestants stand on the edge of possibility. This is Jeopardy! Where knowledge meets nerve, and sometimes history waits behind a single response. Tonight's category, Art and Artists. It sounds elegant, refined, safe, but don't let that fool you. Because Final Jeopardy is never just about knowing a fact. It's about timing, it's about courage, and sometimes it's about knowing the difference between genius and devotion. You can almost feel the tension as the clue is revealed. A painter who was also in a priory. 30 seconds. That's all they get. Norley Flynn. No second guesses out loud. Just pen, screen, heartbeat. And 3 very different journeys about to collide. Eric Ahasic stands at $5,600. He's thoughtful. Analytical. You can see the gears turning behind his eyes. Throughout the game, he's played with calm precision, careful wagers, controlled risks. But Final Jeopardy changes everything. He writes quickly. Confidently, time runs out. The host turns to him first. Eric, who did you come up with? He reveals his answer, Botticelli. Close, but not quite. Because while Sandro Botticelli painted beauty that defined an era, he was never a cleric. Eric had wagered everything. A bald mauve. And just like that, his total drops to 0. It's a harsh reminder of what makes the stage so unforgiving. Knowledge gets you here, but precision keeps you alive. You can almost feel the weight of that moment, the split-second realization that brilliance was just one detail short. Not even close. Next up is Jackie Kelly, with a commanding lead of $20,400. Jackie has been a force throughout the game, quick on the buzzer and fearless in her daily double wagers. She's built a fortress of a score, and now all she has to do is defend it. The host asks for her response. She reveals what she wrote. Who is Botticelli? It's the same incorrect answer as Eric. The same logical leap, connecting Renaissance art with the religious themes of the time, but the difference is in the wager. The host reveals it. $1,201. A strategic, conservative bet. Her total drops, but she still sits comfortably at $19,199. It's a masterclass in risk management. You don't always have to be right, but you have to be smart about how you're wrong. Jackie's in a great position, but one more contestant remains. Finally, we turn to Ryan Long. Ryan started Final Jeopardy in second place with $10,200. He's a fan favorite, known for his incredible streak and his humble, down-to-earth demeanor. He's been in this high-pressure situation many times before. The host asks for his answer. Ryan reveals his screen. He's written, "Who is Fra Angelico?" It's a name that might not be as universally famous as Botticelli, but it's the correct one. Fra Angelico was a Dominican friar in the early Renaissance, a man whose life was as devoted to his faith as his art was to depicting it. The detail about the priory was the key, and Ryan unlocked it. Now, everything comes down to his wager. Did he bet enough to overtake Jackie's massive lead? The host reveals the number, $9,199. The math is done instantly. Ryan's total jumps to $19,399. He has won the game by just $200. The studio audience erupts. It's a stunning comeback, a victory snatched from the jaws of what looked like certain defeat. This is what makes Jeopardy so compelling. It's not just about what you know, but how you use that knowledge under pressure. It's a game of inches, where a single detail in a clue and a carefully calculated wager can change everything. One correct answer and a perfectly placed bet turned a second place standing into a champion's victory. Moments like these are why we keep watching, to see strategy, courage, and knowledge collide in the most thrilling way possible. What an incredible finish! It just goes to show you that in Final Jeopardy, it's never over until the last wager is revealed. What are some of the most memorable Final Jeopardy moments you've seen? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the greatest moments in game show history. We'll see you in the next one. The camera shifts. All eyes on Veronica Vishidvatikan. She's in second place with $7,200. Look at her composure. She's focused, measured, her expressions giving nothing away. Her gameplay tonight has been incredibly steady, sharp recalls, confident signaling. She's been building this momentum all night, and Final Jeopardy is her big opportunity. The clue again, a painter who was also in a priory. Now, there's a subtle trap hidden right inside that word, priory. It's not just a church. And it's not just about religious themes. A priory specifically means monastic life, a place where monks or friars live. That distinction is everything. Veronica reveals her response. She's written down Raphael. A true giant of the Renaissance? Absolutely. But unfortunately, not the giant they were looking for tonight. Because while Raphael shaped the entire High Renaissance with his unmatched grace and symmetry, he was not a friar. And what did she wager? Everything. Juste like Eric, hers rappelait. We've just witnessed two contestants, two brilliant minds, make two incredibly bold bets on two legendary names. But tonight, brilliance wasn't quite enough. The stage grows quieter. The tension is palpable, because now, all eyes turn to the leader, Roger Craig. He's sitting on a commanding lead of $24,000. He has played this game like a master strategist, aggressive when necessary, cautious when it counts. The math is simple. He doesn't need to wager big. He doesn't even need to get the question right to win. He could bet zero and walk away a champion. But Final Jeopardy isn't just about math. It's about legacy. It's about proving you know the answer. The clue lingers in the air. A painter who was also in a priory. Roger writes, slowly, deliberately, you can see the gears turning. When the reveal comes, the entire audience leans in, holding its breath. He wrote Michelangelo. It's a name that echoes through centuries. The sculptor of David, the painter of the Sistine Chapel. An absolute titan of art history. But even Michelangelo, with all his grandeur, was not a friar. And in that one stunning instant, something truly remarkable happens. All three contestants have missed it. 3 Renaissance masters named, 3 heartbreaking near misses. The correct answer lies elsewhere. And what happens next is what shifts the entire emotional rhythm of the game, turning a simple answer into a legendary moment. You won't want to miss it. C'est une aide. Have you ever watched Jeopardy and seen a moment that was just pure, unadulterated big brain energy? A moment that wasn't just about knowing the answer, but about playing the game on a completely different level. Well, that's exactly what happened in a recent Tournament of Champions, and it's a masterclass in strategy. The scene is set. It's Final Jeopardy. The tension in the studio is so thick you could cut it with a knife. 3 brilliant contestants, their minds racing, are facing the ultimate test. The category is painters. Seems straightforward, right? But this is the Tournament of Champions. Straightforward is never the whole story. The clue appears on the big screen. This artist of the early 1400s is the only one to have a work in the Uffizi's Tribune, a room created for the masterpieces of the Medici. Think about that for a second. The early 1400s, the Uffizi, the Medici. Your brain immediately starts flipping through a mental Rolodex of Renaissance giants. Michelangelo, Leonardo, Samese Botticelli, Donatello. The names flash by, each one a titan of art history. The contestants scribble furiously, their faces a mask of intense concentration. The iconic Think music plays, each note tightening the suspense. What would you write down? Time's up. The moment of truth arrives. Donatello was a revolutionary sculptor of that era, heavily patronized by the Medici. It makes perfect sense. But then, the host delivers the verdict. No, the wager. Everything. Their score plummets to 0. The studio audience lets out a collective gasp. Next up, the second contestant. Their answer: Donatello. Another logical, well-reasoned guess. And another heart-stopping moment as their entire wager is wiped away. Their score also drops to 0. Two brilliant minds, two identical, logical, but incorrect answers. The pressure is now immense. It all comes down to the returning champion, Roger. The camera focuses on him. He's been a dominant force. What did he write? His answer is revealed. Donatello. The same answer as the others, a triple stumper. You can feel the energy shift in the room. A rare moment where all three contestants miss the final clue. A wave of sympathy washes over the audience. It seems like a tragic end to a hard-fought game. But then, the host explains the correct answer. The clue wasn't just about the Medici or the Uffizi. The key was the time period and the specific location within the gallery. You had to think of a Renaissance painter who was also a cleric. A Dominican Friard de Revelation. Fra Angelico. He's not as universally famous as the others. He wasn't sculpting marble giants or painting vast, dramatic ceilings. He was a man of deep faith, living within the walls of a priory, and his art was an extension of his devotion. Fra Angelico was not just an artist who painted religious scenes. He was a man of religion who painted. And that subtle but profound difference was everything. You can almost feel the collective aha moment ripple through the audience. The clue wasn't asking for the most famous Renaissance painter. It was asking for the one whose life and art were so deeply intertwined with their faith that they became inseparable. That's the beauty and the brutality of Final Jeopardy. It doesn't just reward surface-level knowledge. It rewards precision. It demands that you connect all the dots, not just the most obvious ones. But here's where the story takes its final, incredible turn. This is the part that isn't just about trivia. It's about pure strategy. We look at Roger's wager. The first two contestants bet everything they had, a go-for-broke strategy that often pays off. His total drops from $24,000 down to $15,000, and because the other two contestants had wagered everything and now had 0. Roger wins. He wins the game, even with a wrong answer. He played the chess match happening beneath the surface of the trivia quiz. And with that single, strategic wager, he becomes the second JIT semifinal. He didn't get the answer right, but he got the math right. He played the players, not just the board. And on that day, in that game, that was more than enough. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the smartest move isn't knowing the answer, but knowing yourself and knowing the game you're in. Thanks so much for watching. Because what just happened wasn't just another trivia question about art. No. This was a masterclass in layered thinking, a perfect example of how the game is played on a much deeper level. When you clôt Renaissance Penter, where'd he go? It jumps straight to the titans, the rock stars of the art world. You're thinking Botticelli, Raphael, Michelangelo. The iconic household names. It's an automatic, first-level response. But the key to this whole puzzle wasn't about fame or how recognizable the artist was. The Real Clue, the word locked and locked priory. He wasn't just an artist. He was a Dominican friar living in a convent in Florence. His art wasn't created for grand galleries or wealthy patrons in the same way. It was devotional. It was functional. His paintings were meant to be prayed with. Imagine this. He painted frescoes inside the individual cells of his fellow monks. These weren't loud, ostentatious works designed to grab your attention. They were quiet, contemplative pieces meant to inspire meditation and deep reflection. There's something incredibly powerful in that, isn't there? In our world, a world that is so obsessed with spectacle, with being the loudest voice in the room, he painted silence. He captured tranquility. And tonight, on this stage, understanding that subtle, crucial distinction was the razor-thin line separating victory from defeat. But hold on, because there's an even deeper layer to peel back here. Let's look at the contestants themselves. All three of them demonstrated incredible courage under pressure. You have Eric, who looked at his total and decided to wager everything. He went all in, a bold, high-risk move. Then there's Veronica, who did the exact same thing, betting her entire score on her knowledge. And then you have Roger, who played it more strategically. He made a calculated wager, designed to protect his position. You see three different people, three different approaches, three entirely different philosophies of the game playing out in real time. But in the end, there can only be one winner. And that is precisely what makes this game so endlessly compelling, so fascinating to watch night after night. It's never just about who has more facts stored in their brain. It's about who can masterfully balance that vast reservoir of knowledge with pure, unadulterated nerve. It's about knowing when to be cautious and when to push all your chips to the center of the table. It's about reading the room, understanding your opponents, and most importantly, trusting your own gut instinct. In Final Jeopardy, knowledge and nerve are two separate forces, and they don't always align perfectly. The champion isn't just the smartest person on stage. It's the person who can make those two powerful forces work together in perfect harmony. Right when it matters most. It's a beautiful, complex dance of intellect and courage. Thanks so much for watching and thinking through this with me. If you enjoy these kinds of deep dives, make sure to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next video. Picture 10. You're standing under the brightest lights you've ever seen. A dozen cameras are pointed right at you, but you don't see them. All you see is the screen in front of you and the blinking cursor. Millions of people are watching, holding their breath, but the only sound you hear is the thumping of your own heart. You have 30 seconds. 30 seconds to write down a name. A single name that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. A name that has echoed through art history for centuries. A uti-pitin surge of socrafin of doubt. A tiny, nagging thought that whispers, what if it's not enough? That precise moment, that flash of uncertainty, is what makes these competitions so unbelievably compelling. It's a feeling that leaps through the screen and grabs you right on your couch. You can almost hear what the contestants are thinking. You can practically see the gears turning in Eric's mind as he locks in his answer. He's thinking, it has to be Botticelli. Everything points to Botticelli. The clues, the category, the gut feeling, it all lines up. But then the what ifs start creeping in. What if it's a trick? What if der Restless Emperor, I'm forgetting. The confidence is there, but it's fragile. Meanwhile, you can sense Veronica replaying a single word over and over in her head. Priory. She heard it in the clue, and now it's an echo chamber. Does it connect to the artist she chose? Is it a crucial piece of the puzzle or a clever distraction? She's mentally scrambling through her internal encyclopedia of facts, trying to build a bridge between that one word and the name she just wagered her entire game on. It's a frantic, silent race against the clock happening entirely within her own mind. The pressure is immense. One word could be the key to victory or the harbinger of defeat. And then there's Roger. Roger is the strategist, the calculator. Even before the answers are revealed, he's running the numbers. He's already done the math. He knows what Eric and Veronica could have wagered. He knows what he needs to be right, but more importantly, he knows what happens if he's wrong. He's calculating his own survival odds. His expression is a mask of calm, but underneath, his brain is a supercomputer processing every possible outcome. He's thinking, even if my answer is incorrect, if they both miss it and wagered big, the numbers might just carry me through. That's not just tension. It's tension layered on top of more tension. It's a psychological chess match where every player is trying to see 3 moves ahead. The host begins the reveals. The music swells. Eric's answer is shown first. Botticelli. But what happened next would change everything. That's what it all came down to. Roger, the master strategist, had bet almost nothing. He anticipated the difficulty of the clue and played the odds perfectly. So, while Eric's correct answer gave him a boost, Roger's conservative bet meant he barely lost anything. When the final scores were tallied, Roger was ahead by the slimmest of margins. He advances to the next round. The others, despite their brilliance throughout the game, walk away with nothing. And yet, all 3 of them gave us a moment that fans will be talking about for years, because that's the real drama, isn't it? Sometimes the most memorable endings aren't the ones with flawless victories and triumphant celebrations. They're the imperfect survivals. They're the stories of strategy, luck, and split-second decisions that separate winning from losing. It's about the human element. The raw emotion of knowing you gave it your all, and for one person, it was just enough. Thanks for watching. If you love diving deep into moments like these, make sure to subscribe for more. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does a question like this, about a Renaissance painter, hit so hard? Why does it get everyone talking? It's because it perfectly captures how knowledge works in the real world. Think about it. We tend to remember the loudest names, the biggest, most spectacular achievements. When you think Renaissance art, your mind immediately jumps to the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, right? Or maybe the birth of Venus, or the School of Athens. These are the blockbuster hits of art history. But sometimes, the correct answer isn't the one shouting for attention, it's quieter. It's hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with a different kind of knowledge to find it. Fra Angelico's works weren't about grand spectacle in the same way. They were deeply personal expressions of faith, humility, and incredible discipline. There's a beautiful, almost poetic irony in the fact that he, the humble friar painter, becomes the answer that humbles three absolutely brilliant competitors on the biggest stage. That's the kind of subtle magic this show delivers. Every single clue on that board is like a doorway. Sometimes, you see the clue and you know the answer instantly. You walk right through that door with total confidence. Other times, you're not so sure. You hesitate. You second-guess. You peek through the doorway before committing. And then, there are moments like this one, where you confidently stride towards what you think is the right door, only to find out the correct one was right next to it the whole time. It's a humbling experience we can all relate to, whether we're on a game show or just navigating daily life. Of course, for Roger, this journey is far from over. Making it to the semifinals is a monumental achievement in itself. It's a whole new chapter, a new set of tests, and another chance to master that delicate dance between bold courage and careful calculation. But this specific moment, this one final Jeopardy, will forever be a part of his story, his legacy on the show. It serves as a powerful reminder for all of us that winning isn't always about being perfect. It's not about knowing every single answer without a doubt. Sometimes, winning is about positioning yourself to succeed. It's about being resilient enough to bounce back from a mistake. And most importantly, it's about surviving the single hardest question of the night, even if you don't get it right. It's about living to play another day. That's what makes a true champion. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe for more. Well, that's a wrap on another incredible night of competition. As the credits start to roll, I just have to say, what an episode. The tension in that final round was something else. And the best part? The quarterfinals are just getting started. They continue this Monday, and if tonight was any indication, we are in for an absolutely wild ride. We're going to see more strategy, more mind games, and definitely more surprises. We're talking about those moments where a single, tiny word can flip the entire board on its head. That's the magic of this game, isn't it? It's why we all keep tuning in, night after night. Every single episode has that one turning point, that one moment where everything shifts. It could be a split-second decision to buzz in, or a bold wager written down in blue ink that has the power to change a contestant's entire future. Tonight, that moment came from a category that sounded so deceptively simple: art and artists. You hear that and you think, okay, pretty straightforward. But it ended up being a complete masterclass in precision and deep knowledge. We had 3 brilliant contestants, all at the top of their game. The clue was about Renaissance legends, and one by one, the big names were mentioned. But it was the quietest figure, the humble friar, who turned out to be the correct response, standing tall above all the others. And in that moment of stillness, right there under the bright studio lights, you could feel it. It's a powerful reminder of something we all know, but sometimes forget. General knowledge is powerful, absolutely. But having an unwavering attention to detail, that is truly unstoppable. It's the difference between being good and being a champion. It's what separates the contenders from the legends of the game. So, here's a little something to think about until the next episode. The next time you're watching and you hear a clue that sounds just a little too familiar, a little too easy, lean in. Listen close. Because sometimes, the smallest, most overlooked word in a clue is the one that carries the most weight. It's the key that unlocks the entire puzzle. And sometimes, the correct answer isn't the loudest or most famous name in history. It's not the one you learn about in the first chapter of the textbook. It's the one who lived a quiet life, the one who worked in silence, and in that silence, managed to paint eternity for all of us to see. That's the beauty of knowledge, and that's the beauty of this game. It rewards not just what you know, but how deeply you understand it. What a night! I'm still processing that final clue. What did you all think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What was your favorite moment from tonight's episode? Who are you rooting for as we head into the rest of the quarterfinals? I read every single one of your comments, and I love hearing your takes on the game. It's this shared passion that makes being a fan so much fun. We're all in this together, analyzing the moves, cheering the victories, and feeling the sting of the tough losses. It's a community, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it with all of you. Don't forget, the action continues on Monday. We'll be right back here to break it all down. If you don't want to miss a single moment of the analysis, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It's the best way to stay in the loop as the competition heats up. The road to the championship is long, and we're just getting started. It's going to be an unforgettable journey. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all again very soon. Have a great weekend.